Hello, brothers and sisters. Bishop Michael Burke put out a video this week of a sermon because this weekend was supposed to be Synod Assembly, and so we were all supposed to be meeting in Coralville for an extended Synod Assembly meeting, 3 days long, including Sunday, and he was going to have to record something and send something to us anyway, so he went ahead and recorded a sermon for us to use this coming Sunday. So that said, the sermon on this Sunday will be from Bishop Michael Burke. But I attended a text study, like I normally do today anyway, with a bunch of my colleagues via Zoom, and there were some really good comments and ideas about the gospel text for Sunday. So, given that I'm not going to be organizing them into a sermon, I figured that I could take different bits and pieces of inspiration concerning the gospel text for this coming Sunday, and do the daily devotions this week based off of that. So each day this week we'll have a theme in the daily devotions, and that theme will be following the 10th chapter of the Gospel of John, which is where Jesus talks about being the Good Shepherd. I would like to read actually just a couple of verses from that for our reflection for today, starting at verse 7. So this is John chapter 10. I'm going to read verses 7 through 11. So Jesus again said to them, "Very truly I tell you, I am the gate for the sheep. All who come before me are thieves and bandits, but the sheep did not listen to them. I am the gate. Whoever enters by me will be saved, and will come in and go out and find pasture. The thief comes only to steal and kill and destroy. I came that they may have life and have it abundantly. I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd lays down his life for the sheep." And the part of this text that really kind of stuck with me today is thinking about Jesus as the gate. This doesn't make a lot of sense for Jesus to say this in our particular context. But when you think about shepherding, and especially back in Jesus' time, it makes a little bit more sense. So they didn't have swinging gates back then like we do now for pastures and for pens. So whatever kind of enclosure that they used to keep the sheep penned in, there would always just be an open doorway to get in, an open spot for the sheep to get in and out. And so the gate was literally, oftentimes, the shepherd. So the shepherd would actually lay down physically in the opening to the enclosure as a way of keeping and monitoring what got in or got out, or what was kept in the pen and what was kept out of the pen. And so literally the shepherd himself was the gate. And so this is what Jesus is talking about when he says, "I am the gate." When he says, "I lay down my life for the sheep," that is a literal metaphor that he's using. Shepherds would literally do that. They would literally lie down and sleep in that opening to the enclosure where the sheep were penned up, so that the wolves and what else would be kept out and would have to go through the shepherd in order to get to the sheep and to protect the sheep at night. So they would literally lay their life down for the sheep. And this is what Jesus does for us. Jesus literally lays his life down for us as God's sheep. Jesus goes to the cross and dies and rises again so that you might have life and that you might have it abundantly. Jesus goes to the cross and dies and rises again so that at the end of the day, suffering does come to an end. So at the end of the day, sin does not win. God's forgiveness prevails. At the end of the day, God's life is stronger than anything that could possibly try to get in between us and God. Nothing can separate us from the love of God. Nothing at all. Nothing can separate us from God's life that he has promised us in Jesus Christ. Not even this pandemic or anything that we are experiencing because of it. Nothing in our lives can overwhelm the victory that God won for us by becoming human, dying on the cross in Jesus Christ and rising from the dead victorious. So, know that today, Jesus is the gate. Jesus has laid down his life for you and has taken it back up so that you also may have love and life and peace and joy. May the peace of God, which surpasses all human understanding, keep and guard your hearts and minds in Christ Jesus. Amen.